Before we get started too much here, this is what this video is about. This is a cake platter, paint, plate, or whatever. It's for my wife to put a cake on. So just stay tuned. I'm going to show you how I made this thing. But before we start doing that, a couple things I want to mention. This video, almost the entirety of this video was filmed with my new camera here now. A lot of people complained about not being able to hear me, so a while back I bought this. It has another attachment where you can, put a lapel mic and all that. And it has this hot shoe for this microphone. So I set it up and I just going right along real fine, and about at the end of it, all of a sudden I realized that damn mic's got a switch. So when it's plugged in, it mutes the internal mic, and it goes to this one, but it has to be turned on. So the first, almost like probably 3/4 of this before I switched to the camera you're viewing on now was video with this one, and there was no sound. So I'm going to do a voiceover. Attempt to. This may end up being a sorry video, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Accidents happen. I guarantee I won't turn that off anymore. I won't fail to turn it back on. The other thing is, before we get into this, I'm going to take a couple weeks or a month off from making videos. Quite frankly, I'm just sort of worn out right now. I come out here every day, standing on this concrete. And, I'm not a young man. I turned 75 not too long ago, and I just can't, be out here every day like I used to be. So I'm going to cut back. I'm going to, spend a little time in the house with the wife and doing, I got other things I can be doing in the house, a lot of computer work. And, and then I'll get back, and I'm still going to, when I come back, I promise to try to slow down. So in the meantime, I've got some anti-fatigue matting coming to put all in this area. And she said I got to get better shoes. So I'll do all those. Weekends, probably my grandboys will be here and probably video some of those, and maybe we'll publish one of of them turning bowls. We might find that interesting. But anyway, let's get on with this.
We had to start off with what I'm doing now is explaining what I did off camera before I got this far. And basically what I did is I took a 24-inch piece of walnut, 1 inch thick, that was 9 inches wide. I made two 12-inch pieces out of it, and then on each one of the 12-inch pieces I sawed 3 inches off the sides. Then I took the two 6-inch main pieces and glued them together to make the basis for the plate. I took the 3-inch pieces and made the part that is glued to the bottom of the plate, and this is for contour purposes. And the little round one on the right, that's going to be the base. Now you see the piece of wood, the sort of orangish wood there, that's hickory I found in the pile, and that's going to be my pedestal. So the first thing I'm going to do is to put the pedestal between centers, get it to the round, put a tenon on the end, flip it around, and make my pedestal. Then my pedestal will be glued to the base, and I'll turn it from there. Now what I'm trying to explain here, if I remember correctly, is that, I like to call it building your boat in the basement. So you don't want to back yourself into a corner. So you have to have an idea of especially on a multi-piece project, you got to know how they interact and how you're going to attach each and every one to the lathe as you go along with it. So right now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and work on the pedestal, and we'll go from there. You see here I'm showing how they actually will fit together when I'm done. Okay? Alright, I've got the pedestal wood between centers, and just to remind everybody how I do it on the drive-in, I take a force bit and drill a 1-inch hole so that my spur drive fits into that hole. And on this end where the live center is, I drill, use a step drill and drill a hole right there so that the life center fits in it, thus ensuring that, they just can't possibly come out. Now look here, here's something you don't see very often. I'm using a gouge to do my rounding. This 5/8 gouge is doing a pretty good job. Like I think I explained in this video, I know how to use all the tools. I just have my preferences like anybody else. I think you'll find the more you turn, the more you'll narrow them down. You're turning to about 3 or 4 different tools, and you won't hardly ever use the other ones. I'm the same way. So I'm going to do this for a little while, and then I'm going to put a tenon on the end, and we'll go from there. Well, making about the final few passes with the gouge to get this to the round, and as soon as it's not making my tool jump all over the place, we'll get on with the tenon. Well, here's a chuck I'm going to use. I think what I'm talking about here is the jaws, how I dislike this particular set of jaws. This is a Nova chuck. I would not buy any more of them. I bought this thinking it was dovetail jaws, and the outside is, but the inside is trade jaws with a little bead around them. And I just don't like that kind of particular chuck, so I avoid using it. Now, what I'm doing now is I'm doing a little measuring here with my calipers. And I'm going to mark the end of the hickory, so I can, there you go, cut it down, moving my wrist so I can get down to it. And I'll mark this and then I'll cut it. Well, I ended up using a different rest because I just couldn't get in there with those calipers like I wanted to. So I'll go ahead and get this marked down, and then we'll see if we can't make ourselves a tenon. Here we go. I can't really say what I'm doing, can you? Alright, come on, Larry, move. There you go. So that's the size my tenon's going to be right there. Yeah, here we are. We're using a beaver again, making a tenon. That's my favorite tool, go-to tool. It doesn't take very long. It does a fantastic job. I like to make the depth of my tenon about half the width of the cutting head, about to the center of the screw that holds it down. Okay, now I'm coming in here with a 1/4-inch bowl gouge, making that little bitty lip in the back that so that the chuck has a little lip on it. It's sort of hard to explain. Anyway, that's just a little gripping part. So I'm making that now. Alright, I've got it all flipped around and stuff now. I'm going to make my pedestal. It's going to be a relatively simple one. You can see I'm using a round cutter there. Just sort of making a valley, and it's all basically all it's going to be, and then I'll part it off on the other end. So this is not a big deal here. Fairly easy to do. If you're not careful, you can get a catch in a heartbeat though. See how I keep turning the tool? Well, you have to do that because you don't want that high side to catch on the opposite side, because it will gouge in and you'll be having a redesign there. Alright, I've got the pedestal base done now. It's all nice and smooth and sanded and all that kind of good stuff. What I'm doing now is I'm parting it off. And to be quite honest, this was almost a major mistake. Had I parted it all the way, I would have had a little issue, because the next step is to glue the base onto this end of it. And then I was going to turn the base while it was still on it and then part it off. I got ahead of myself. I'm sure it's not the first time nor the last. Okay, I'm using 30-minute epoxy here, and I'm going to glue that little walnut round thing you see sitting down there on the base. What I'm doing here is explaining the different epoxies and stuff. So we get that done here in just a second. You don't need much. You can see that I always use the bottom of a Coke can as my little place to mix stuff. Then you can just throw it away. Pretty simple. Alright, I took the pedestal and the base off, and I'm sitting them aside and letting them sit up while I'm going to go ahead and turn the plate. I've got the plate on a face plate. Can't see the back side. Right now I'm going to work on the front. I'm going to, get it all smoothed out and make a top of a plate. Well, I'm getting ready to do the top part of the plate, and I'm going to use my beaver in a scraping motion. It's designed where it has a limited amount it can cut on the side. You can see here what I'm going to do right here. I'll get my helmet out of the way. I ain't put my helmet down yet, have I? I bet I'll figure it out in about a second. Here we go. It's going to be right there. Alright. By the time I put it down, I think it hit me right there. And we're going in there with sort of a push cut. You can see how quick and easy that works now. At this particular wrist, I sort of designed it to be used with a beaver. See how nice and flat it sits. And, it takes the impact quite well. You do need to keep it up close when you're doing this because you're peeling a lot of wood here. And when you get to the outside of that plate, it's whirling pretty cotton picking fast. There you go. Got my helmet down now. Wising up my old age. That looks nice and smooth. I'm sure that's what I'm saying. If I remember right, I had to take the cutter off my beaver and go over on the grinder to cut the metal back a little. It turned a little bit and I lost my little cutting edge. So that's what I did there. So I'm getting ready to do some major peeling now. Alright, here we go. Watch the wood fly. He's peeling it out alright. Make a nice even cut all the way out. Nice and slow. Don't get in a hurry. We have almost got the top done now. I think right now what I'm doing is basically just getting it flat. I believe the center was high. I put a straight edge on it. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. See how I'm tapering out now, coming out just a little more. Pull out right. There we go. Pick it back up. And pulling some wood, isn't it? Alright, we're right at the edge. So I'm going to come in from the other direction. You can't see it, but that's what I'm doing. Look at the wood at the top disappear. There you go. Yeah, you can see her go there. Well, I believe at this point, the only thing I was going to do is a little sandpaper, a couple of little small tool marks. We'll get them out. Then we'll be done with the top. We'll put some sealer on it and flip it around. Well, she flipped around. Got a good view of the camera this time, so you ought not have no problem seeing. He didn't get a good bond on the 3-inch boards for my bottom of my plate, but we'll use a round cutter and come in there. Okay, if I got a crack, I'll fix it with CA and sawdust. Alright, here we go. We'll see what we can do now. A square corner, sometimes if you're not real careful, you can knock one off and get a big chunk. I really should have rounded that piece before on the bandsaw before I put it on. But you deal with what you can deal with and see if you can't fix it next time. Yeah, here's what you get when you don't get a good bond. See the splintering up there? It's just not stuck real good. Well, it's not stuck at all. So, I'm going to mess around here and I'll fix that in a couple minutes. Yeah, here I'm going to measure the thickness of the plate. I sort of surprised myself there. I got it pretty dang thin. I know you can't see the other end, but it's 1/8 of an inch thick right there where my thumb is. It's just a little too uncomfortable because I'm going to have to work on the underside a little bit. I don't have a whole lot to work with before we got a much smaller plate. Well, here you can see what I did with that centerpiece. I just cut her down to the bottom of the plate and put some. Now I'm doing it right now, putting some CA and sawdust in there. Then I'll smooth it. The idea was if it showed up too much, I was just going to put a burn line there. But I didn't have to. It really worked out pretty good. I used that filler that I've got on a wall over there that came out of the dust collector. Just about the right color. And it's so fine that it gets in everything. It works. This sort of is my fallback filler. So we'll go on now and see what else we can mess up here. All right, I'm back to my round cutter now, putting the final touches on the underside. It looks pretty good. I'm pretty satisfied. Looks like I may have to do a little more. Yeah, I can see that tool mark going around there. I'm going to have to get that out. And some CA where I done a little repair work. That CA soaks down in the woods. About the only way to get it out. You can't get it out sanded because it's just too deep. About the only way to really get it out is to, I'm trying to sand it there, but I think I end up turning it. So the only way to get it out is to basically turn it out. You don't have to turn it very deep here. Well, it seems to be working. It's making a light of me now. I just forgot what I did, I guess. But normally, I turn them out. I'm doing it anyway here. I'll come in here. Don't get in the way, Larry. Well, there I am. I'm in the way again. Didn't burn it. I got to get more cognizant of, me and the camera, our relationship to the work. And when you don't have a cameraman, you're doing it all by yourself. Sometimes you just sort of forget where you're at. So let's get this done and we'll see what else we've got to do. Let's take a look at it. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Still got to work on that tool mark. I can see it right there. I'm sure I get it. I know I do because it's not there when I'm done. Well, I'm wrapping up the backside now. This is usually the final step using that, it's sort of a flapper wheel. It gets it down to about 400 grit. And one advantage to not having any sound, you don't have to listen to that old squealing sander. I usually edit it all out. So I think we're going to do a little sealer right now in a second. Alright, I'm putting the sealer on now. I use Minwax sand and sealer. It's water based. It's all I ever use. In fact, this is almost all that'll be on here. I'll put enough coats on where I can buff it. It really brings it out. The first coat will cause the wood to swell a little bit because it is water based, but it sands off real easy. I usually somewhere in the neighborhood between 3 and 5 coats to get it deep enough to where I can do a little steel woolen and then buff it. It turns out almost beautiful. I believe on this one I'm going to go ahead and put a little, after I do that, I'll put a little wax on it. Just for grins. I don't think it really helps anything. I wanted to try to get a little more shine to it. Alright, that's what it looks like. Well, this is the end of the silent treatment. I think from now on I switched to the other camera and it picked up the sound just good. I hadn't previewed it as I'm speaking now, but I will in a minute, or we will. All right, I've got the plate itself all sealed and sanded and steel wooled.
getting ready to take it off. Go over to the disc sender, clean the bottom, and I'll have to seal it. In the meantime, I've got the pedestal and the base right here. I do wish I had not parted that. I believe it'll be strong enough. I'm going to put it on, and then basically when I put it on, I'm going to just try to clean this out and not even touch out. I'm going to try to clean this out and not even touch out here until I get this in here clean, you know, big enough. And then I'll put the live center back in to hold it. I don't want to start out here because, you know, because of what I did there, it was an oversight and I shouldn't have done it. So let me get this thing off of here, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and do the bottom like I said, and I'll put this on and we'll play with this in a little while. And I've got it on here and I'm getting ready to do this out. I put some light colored sawdust in there with super glue. I thought the contrast might look pretty. So I'm going to use a beaver, and I'm just going to come in here just about to here. Just, you know, just make a place big enough, and then when I get the tailstock back in it, I'll go ahead and finish the bottom, and then I'll wrap it around the front. I'll move the camera so we can see it when I start doing that. I'm hoping it don't go flying. I'm stand over here where it don't hit me. Not sure how fast I want to turn it. You know, the faster you can turn it, the better cut you get. I guess y'all know that. Yeah. About to here. Got me a wobble, that's not good. Got me a wobble, that's not good. Yeah, I didn't get all the wobble out, I see. This ain't no beaver. Well, believe it or not, that's it. That's all I'm going to do other than sand it. take a minute, and then I'm going to go ahead and saw this off and go over there and get this cleaned up. And then I'm going to the laser to do my bottom. All right, I'm ready to buff this. I'm not going to put it on yet. Well, this. See how it turns out. See what's going to come out. Very nice. All right. Put some wax on it. There you go. I'm going to put some wax on it, and I'll come back and change it to the wax wheel. Might just take that one off totally. I just don't like it. Doesn't seem to do anything for me, other than mess up what I've already got. I think maybe a wax and some buffing there will bring that out a little bit more. Maybe not. Okay. All right. I'm gonna finish that bottom over there and laser. I'll put some wax on this first though, so I can buff it before I glue it onto the bottom. I've got the base all sanded and steel wooled up. Now I'm going to, there it is. Now I'm going to buff it. I probably need to put a little bit more of this on it. You have to be careful and never get it like this. It'll jerk it out again. Always buff and you know, turn it away from you and never get this edge right here. And this right there, because it'll go bam. Just like any turning. Here we go. Immediately you can see it right here. Immediately. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and change this wheel out for the standard wax buffing wheel, because I put wax on the plate yesterday. I'm going to buff it off. I'm not going to put any wax on here. And then I'm going to epoxy the two together, and then by golly, we'll be done, guys. Alright guys, here's your finished product. I think it turned out quite well. I'll take some stills and publish them at the end. So there you go. Cake platter, whatever you want to call it. I got a little bit of wax up here, but almost entirely the finish is buff men wax sealer. So I'm pretty proud of that. Got the bottom done. Anyway, guys, if you enjoy what I do, please subscribe, tell your friends, and all that kind of stuff. Like I always say, call your mama. Keep them whirling. And I'll probably see you in 2 weeks to a month. Take care of yourselves. Bye.